Good afternoon from the KUOW newsroom. This is Seattle Now. I'm Patricia Murphy. Coming up, we'll visit an animal lab at UW that activists are calling on President Trump to cancel funding for. But first, here's a roundup of today's top stories. It's Thursday, October 16th. The candidates for Seattle City Attorney are sparring over who's best suited to take on the Trump administration. Incumbent Ann Davison and challenger Erica Evans faced off last night in a debate moderated by KUOW's Libby Dankman. Evans suggested her rival has done too little too late to push back against federal overreach.
That's the difference, is we're going to be proactive and be ready to act with urgency and the courage that you all here deserve.
Davison, who was first elected in 2021, responded with an attack on her opponent's lack of experience.
It's easy when you don't understand what's going on to make accusations about my timing, etc. But I understand what's going on. I have a team in place.
Davison is the rare Seattle office holder who considers herself a Republican, though the city attorney is a nonpartisan office. Evans is a former federal prosecutor. She won the primary by 22 points over Davison. You can hear the full debate at KUOW.org. The Seattle School Board has unanimously advanced two unnamed finalists for the superintendent role after reviewing more than 40 applicants. The Seattle Times reports the finalists will undergo background checks, present 100-day plans, and participate in final interviews on October 22nd. The identities of the candidates are being kept confidential to protect their current positions. The new superintendent could begin as early as November 1st, becoming Seattle's fourth since 2014. Sound Transit is laying the groundwork for a Faregate pilot program. Faregates are physical stands people can't cross unless they've shown proof of payment. King 5 reports that Sound Transit CEO Dow Constantine has instructed staff to prepare for gates at various key stations. The agency is studying gates as part of a broader plan to improve safety and close an estimated $20 to $30 billion budget shortfall in the coming decades. Later this year, Sound Transit is expected to announce when and where the pilot program will launch. The Mariners continue their quest for a World Series appearance tonight. It's Game 4 of the American League Championship Series against the Toronto Blue Jays at T-Mobile Park. Seattle Now sports correspondent Vaughn Jones has more.
The Mariners are hoping to flush a blowout loss and take a dominant 3-1 lead in the best-of-7 series. Mariners outfielder Julio Rodriguez spoke to the media ahead of Game 4. He says the team has learned how to take things day by day this season.
We all do a pretty good job just staying present in the moment and kind of just take games as they go. And sometimes you're going to experience tough losses and you cannot, avoid that. But I feel like something that you can really control is how you respond and how you show up the next day.
Veteran pitcher Luis Castillo is on the mound for Seattle. He has not allowed a run this postseason. If the Mariners win tonight, they'll be one game away from their first ever World Series appearance. But a loss will tie the ALCS at 2 games apiece. Vaughn Jones, KUOW News.
Humpy fever has taken over Seattle. Baseball fans and even non-baseball fans are rooting on the Mariners with their new favorite mascot. Casey Martin has more.
Seattle's mayor made it official Thursday afternoon. October 16th is henceforth Humpy Day in the city to honor the salmon mascot who's stolen Seattle's heart recently. Lee Chilcott was walking to the game with her family when she ran right into the famous fish.
Amazing. He smells really good. He is really fast, as we discovered.
Humpy grabbed the spotlight when he won a race for the first time inside the ballpark the same night the Mariners won an epic 15-inning game. He led the party as it rolled through Pioneer Square.
And we accidentally met that parade on Yesler. It was really cool because we came off the ferry from Bremerton and it was like a greeting party.
If the Mariners win this 7-game series, they're headed to the World Series for their first time. Happy Humpy Day to all who celebrate. At the ballpark, I'm Casey Martin, KUOW News.
Seattle University's president is moving on to the other Washington. Seattle U's Eduardo Peñalver has accepted a job as the 49th president of Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. Peñalver has served as the 22nd president of Seattle U since 2021. He was the first non-ordained member of the church to lead the Catholic Jesuit school since its founding in 1891. The U.S. Department of Energy announced it has treated the first batch of radioactive tank waste at Hanford. Northwest Public Broadcasting's Anna King has the details.
More than 4 hulking canisters of vitrified waste have been made so far. Now, the low-activity waste treatment plant is meant to work 24/7 for decades to treat much of that waste at Hanford. David Replog is the vice president for the federal programs with the Tri-City Development Council.
We know that total volume of waste is going down in a meaningful way and will, over time, significantly reduce that risk. So it's a big step forward today.
Hanford has 56 million gallons of radioactive and chemical waste in liquids, sludge, and salt cake. Many of the underground tanks that the waste is stored in are leaking not far from the Columbia River. I'm Anna King.
The White River Bridge will reopen tomorrow, earlier than expected, between the towns of Buckley and Enumclaw. The heavily used State Route 410 bridge has been completely closed for about 2 months after a semi-truck rammed into the span. Governor Bob Ferguson announced the reopening news today alongside WashDOT officials. Ferguson issued an emergency proclamation to speed up repairs in August and says crews have been working 7 days a week since then. Now our feature story for today. President Trump has canceled millions of dollars in grants for animal testing. Animal rights activists have specifically called on him to claw back funding from one local lab. Scott Greenstone went there.
The mice cages are quiet. The ferrets are listening to nature sounds. But the monkeys in these labs at the University of Washington are listening to Bobby Brown.
Classical music and talk radio, they seem to really like. They seem to really like Disney movies and Animal Planet and anything that has other animals that they can watch.
Dr. Melissa Berg and the staff try lots of activities to enrich the lives of these caged pigtail macaques, freezing their food into astroturf so they can sort of forage, making them climb up the side of the cage for peanuts. But the monkeys find their own enrichment, too. Like Thor, who just figured out how to unlatch and grab a piece of plastic out of the food hopper on his cage.
Thor, you need to not do that, sir.
Nellie Nicholson is the husbandry manager.
This is why my job is fun, because it's constantly trying to be smarter than the monkeys, and every single day being reminded that you're not smarter than the monkeys.
The intelligence of monkeys like Thor has been a driving argument from the animal rights movement to end experiments on them. That used to be more associated with the political left, but recently it's picked up steam with figures like HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. President Trump has closed an animal lab in West Virginia and canceled nearly $28 million in grants for animal testing in his second term. Animal rights groups like PETA, which has called on Trump to claw back funding from this facility, smell victory.
It's so close.
Dr. Lisa Jones-Engel used to work at the UW lab and has studied macaques in the wild.
The sounds that you hear in the lab, those are generally not good sounds. You hear, the infants who have been pulled from the moms who are just making the sound that says, I am terrified, I'm afraid, where is my mother? You hear the moms, where is my child? You hear the males just angry.
Monkeys have died at this facility in the past, including 2 years ago during a cranial implant. Deborah Fuller took over after that as director. She said deaths are tragic but very rare, and experimenting on monkeys is necessary for life-changing medicines and technologies.
When we write a grant, we have to say, why can't you use something else? We have to justify it.
The center boasts that its monkeys have shed light on COVID transmission and helped develop the first cochlear implants. Important drugs like the HIV prevention medicine known as PrEP were tested on monkeys at this center before they went to human trials. Dr. Berg, the veterinarian, her mom beat cancer thanks to chemotherapy that was tested on monkeys.
Every single animal here is making the ultimate sacrifice for other animals and for people every single day. And so I will spend the rest of my life showing up for them because there was some monkey somewhere that I'll never have the opportunity to know that is the reason that my mom is still here and that she gets to go to my wedding in 2 months and be part of the rest of my life.
Other scientists say animal trials can be faulty and science should move beyond them. The National Institutes of Health under Trump has begun focusing more on new approaches, potentially using 3D printed tissues, computational methods sometimes referred to as organs on microchips, or even artificial intelligence.
I give the Trump administration and NIH a lot of credit in starting down that road.
Paul Locke is a professor at Johns Hopkins School of Public Health who works on transitioning to those new approaches.
But if we ended all animal testing now, in my estimation, it would not be good for science. It would not be good for human health.
Locke says while promising, those approaches are not yet ready to pull off the shelf and use instead of animals. Scott Greenstone, KUOW News.
Next time on Seattle Now, it's Casual Friday. We'll talk about all things Mariners ahead of an important Game 5. Like, why the heck did they let Humpy win a second salmon run?
Having Humpy win again on Wednesday night, I don't know. That's like when you're a kid and you tell a joke and like your parents laugh and then you keep walking around the Thanksgiving telling everyone in the family the same joke and they're like, okay, we've heard this a million times.
Such a good analogy. Hear that tomorrow morning. And that's all for today from the KUOW Newsroom in Seattle. Our producer is Andy Hurst, and I'm Patricia Murphy. Seattle Now and KUOW are members of the NPR network. See ya.